All right, let's go ahead and jump right in. Hello, welcome to All Business Basics. I am Braden, super excited to finally start this. I get asked all the time, how do I get started with AI? What tools should I use? Is it scary? I'm concerned I'm not going to use it because it's going to take over the world. This is hopefully to dispel all of those rumors and less than strongly founded things that are out there that the media is just latching onto. AI can be very, very helpful in a lot of ways. It can help you in any role that you have. Think of your role as an employee at a workplace. Think of your role in the home. A dog lover, a mother, a father, a daughter, a son, any relationship that you have, hobbies that you're interested in. AI can help you be better in all of those things. So, the first thing I want to make sure is super clear is that AI is not new. It has been around for pushing 70, 75 years now. So, let me share my screen here. Just make sure that this works okay. Window and share. There we go. Perfect. So if you go to google.com and you start typing in something here, let's go best whatever. This is AI, this type ahead search type of experience. And if you're logged in, it takes your history, it remembers your history, and then it refers results that are best suited to you as an individual. That's all AI. If you go to Amazon and you see the consider these items, these are recommendations based on your history with previous purchases or searches or whatever in Amazon. That's been around for a really long time. I'm sure you noticed, maybe what, 20 years, 15 years, long time. That's all AI. But the newest thing that is here is generative AI or Gen AI. You might have heard that term before as well. Gen AI is a whole different ballgame. It's rooted in all the machine learning, artificial intelligence that's been around for a long time, but it took a massive leap forward to what we have today. Now, my favorite tool, my tool of choice is ChatGPT. It is super easy to use. It's very, very user friendly, and they stay ahead of the curve. Now, you'll notice in the news and when friends are talking about AI that they'll talk, oh, Grok is the latest, greatest, and Gemini is the latest, greatest, and ChatGPT is now the latest, greatest. All of these different general purpose AI tools are just going like this constantly. Like one of them will come out with a new feature, and then the next one will be a little bit better, and then the next one, and the next one. From a beginner's perspective, do not worry about that. Just dive in. Don't worry about what's the best. Just jump into your tool of choice. So the principles that I'll teach here apply across all of the different general purpose AI tools. I am choosing to use ChatGPT just because that is, again, my preference. That's what I started with. It's what I'm comfortable with and most familiar with. But I am very familiar with all of those main AI tools. So let's jump right in. Here we have a box to enter a prompt. Do not ever think that you are too old to use AI, that you are not technically capable to use AI. If you can write an email, you can use AI. If you can send a text message, you can use AI. That is the level of technical expertise that you need. You do not need anything more. So to get started, go to chat.com. So type in your browser chat.com. It'll take you to chatgpt.com, or open up your app store on your phone and just search for ChatGPT. Pause the video until you have the app downloaded or you've made it to the website. I would recommend creating an account. What that does is it allows for some additional features to be available to you. It's all free. You can download the app for free, go to chatgpt.com for free. But having an account will also let you remember, or excuse me, you'll be able to save your chat conversations. So you see here over on the left, these are the chats that I've had with ChatGPT. It will save those, but you don't need to do that. Just even for today, just getting started with the basics. So right here, I am typing something in. What can you help me with? I'll refer often to a prompt. So I'm prompting AI. I'm typing in this sentence into the system, into ChatGPT. And the output or the response is what you're seeing here. When ChatGPT says, what I say, what can you help me with? That is the prompt, the input. And then here is the response or the output. So input, what I am putting into AI, output being what AI gives me in return based on what I put in as the input. So if I just say, what can you help me with? Output, oh, a lot here. I can help you with thinking and decisions, work and career, content creation, whatever. That's great. That is content that is based on just anything out there on the internet. Now, here's a point of clarification. Can AI see everything out there? Trick question. It can see everything out there as long as it's public facing. So if there is let's say a brand new book that was just released and you can buy it on audible.com, or you can buy the book at Barnes and Noble or whatever, and it's behind a paywall, so you have to pay to get access to it, AI will not see the transcript of that book. Does that concept make sense? I hope that's super clear. So AI can see or reason over the entirety of the internet. But if something is behind a paywall or a firewall, meaning you have to log in with an account, AI, just like this, with general purpose AI, can't see it. Now, keep in the back of your mind, and we'll hit this in later weeks, a little bit more intermediate, little advanced, that you can tap into those sources. You can log in via connectors to get access to that content. But for what we're doing today, from a brand new beginner's perspective, AI cannot see content that doesn't exist publicly out there in the internet. Okay, super important to understand, super important concept. So here we have, what can you help me with? AI gives me a response. I'm going to click up here, start a new chat. What that does is it starts a conversation over. So when you're creating a chat or conversation, here's one just minutes ago, minutes before I went live today. My daughter's like, okay, how many, what was it, 23 Grand Slams that Serena Williams did? She's doing a report in school and she wanted to verify that. So I just went in here, how many Grand Slams did Serena Williams win? 23. So thumbs up, yes. And she's like, okay, was she 20 years old? So in the same conversation, you'll notice here in blue, that's what I typed in. That's the input, like we talked about. And then the output are the responses here. So in the same conversation, meaning I can scroll down and see multiples here, multiple chats. I ask another question. How old was she when she reached #1 in the world? Now, when I said she here, how did it know who I was referring to? It's simply looking at the previous chats in that same conversation. So it's pulling in context to help you better. Because how would that be if in the same conversation I were like, hey, how old was she when she reached #1 in the world? And she's like, who are you talking about? That's ridiculous. In the same conversation, it retains the context, the memory of what you had previously asked. So this is a great example. I hadn't even planned on using this, but again, minutes before, she's like, hey, help me. I need these answers really fast. So there's a conversation. Now, when I click on new chat, it starts a new conversation. Down here at the bottom, look at this, Serena Williams Grand Slams. It saves your prior conversations that you can then go back to. Let's say in a few minutes, she reaches back out and is like, oh, what's her sister's name again? I can say, what's her sister's name again? And it pops up and it says Venus Williams. There we go. And there's a reference I can click to. So that's what a conversation, and how when you say chat, you're chatting with AI. This is what you're doing. You are entering input via text or voice. We'll talk about voice here in a minute, a few minutes, maybe even next week. And then you're seeing the output and having that conversation. Now, a big key principle that I want you to take from this is layer one. When I come in here and ask it a question, so I'm going to say, what are some fun things to do in Las Vegas? Okay, what it's going to do is just generalize. It's just, in general, the average person going to Las Vegas, here's some fun things to do. Now, what about me, though? I want to know specific fun things for me. I don't care if it's fun for someone else. I want it for me and my family. So what can you do here? A lot of times, especially newbies with AI, they'll just stop here and just be like, oh, okay, that's kind of good, kind of not, and judge it, thumbs up or thumbs down, based on just the initial response from AI. Please don't do that. What I'm teaching you here is to have a conversation. iterate with AI. So let's give it some more information. All right, let's say great start. And I'm just making random stuff up here. But my family is super not adventurous, and we love the indoors and love to watch family-friendly shows or whatever. Now, you see what it did there? It just took general averages and honed it in to me and my family and my needs. And then what it can do, you can do so much more. It actually retains your history and learns from it and remembers more and more about you. So here's Cirque du Soleil, Tournament of Kings, multiple shows. Okay, great. So look at this. This is layer 1. We just asked for general information. Now we're diving in a little bit to layer 2. We've honed it in. And now let's say we want to go to layer 3. Tell me more about. Those are 4 very, very powerful words with AI. Tell me more about blank, where you dive into something and then you can come back up to layer 1. So we're in layer 2 right here. Tell me more about, I'll just say Blue Man Group. Let's pretend I've never heard of it before. I'm diving into layer 3 now in the same conversation. So remember how I'm not going to start a new chat or a new conversation. I'm retaining what we've already established here, scrolling all the way up to the top. If you remember, what are some fun things to do in Las Vegas? So iconic, must-see attractions, fun and unique, whatever. But then what did I do? I gave it some input, some additional input. Great, but we're not adventurous and we love the indoors and want family-friendly shows. Great. And then it honed in to some other options. And then I honed in again and said, tell me more about Blue Man Group. And here is our response is just about Blue Man Group. Is one of the safest bets in Vegas for a family that wants indoors, zero risk, clean humor. See how it is retaining context in that conversation. Really, really important concept. So think of in your role, let's put a hat on right now. You're in whatever role. Think of the next thing that you need to do in that role, and think of some context that you could share with AI to help AI better help you. Okay, let's try a new one. We're going to do the same process. Let's just say, okay, I'm looking for date ideas for me and my wife. Okay, so same concept. If I just say, boom, go, what's it going to do? It's going to pull that back just random stuff. Picnic at a scenic spot, dinner and a cooking class together, mini adventure, themed dinner night, all the options. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go down to layer 2. I'm going to clarify. I'm going to give it more information, more context about what I'm looking for. Okay, so let's just say we're in the mood for a cozy night at home, not super expensive, and something yummy. Okay, there we go. So big picture, I honed it way in. Okay, option number 1, make dinner together, wine and charcuterie. Interesting. Okay, so here's something that pops out. And you'll see here, I don't know what AI is going to say. That's one of the beauties of AI. Some people get frustrated like, oh, I want AI to say the same thing over and over. AI doesn't do that, okay? So I don't know what it's going to say. We actually religiously don't drink wine. And so it didn't know that, so I'm going to tell it. We actually don't drink wine. That's it. Giving more context. I'm at layer 4 now? Perfect. No wine needed for a very cozy, yummy night. Cozy drinks. Oh, I've got hot chocolate bar, herbal tea, warm apple cider, etc. Okay? So you see the idea that I am trying to glean from AI the best output for me that adds the most value by giving it information. Okay? It's a give and take. And ironically, think of your interactions and your relationships with humans. So think of someone in your life, a coworker, a spouse, a kid, whomever. You have interactions with that person. It is a give and take. You're going back and forth. Okay, what about this? Okay, now da. Same thing with AI. Treat it. Don't humanize it. Maybe don't say she and him when you're referring to AI. It's an it. It's still a machine, but in the same the same communication style, maybe that's the best way to say it, you should be interacting with AI just like a human. So hopefully you get that idea, that principle of iterating, conversing with AI. Now, let's dive into a few really, really cool things. All right, let's say here, I want to analyze something. So I'm just going to grab a random, I should have prepared this beforehand. I'm going to grab a random something on my machine. Okay, here is an image of, okay, here is a rule book of a game that I wanted to learn. So this game is called Vantage Rulebook, okay? So now picture using AI on top of content that you have loaded in. What I just did is before even typing anything, I haven't typed a word here. I fed it information. I fed it this entire rule book. I don't know how many pages. It might be 10, 20 pages long. Now, when I type something in here, it's going to refer to that information as context. Think of it as like preloaded context, okay? So I'm going to say, give me an overview of the actions I can take in this game. Please, I should have said please. Okay, so it's, look at that, reading documents. So it's looking at the document that I just submitted. Here's a clean player-facing overview of the actions I can take in Vantage. Focus on what you get, 3 types of actions: locations, move, look, engage, and you see that it's going through based on that content. But watch this. I'm just going to stop at any point. You can just stop the conversation. If I copy exactly this prompt, remember the prompt, the input that I'm typing in, and go to new chat and just say, give me an overview of the actions I can take in this game, what's it going to do? Hopefully you're thinking, wait, hold on, it's not going to know what game you're talking about. Oh, look at that. Which game are you talking about? Beautiful example here. If it's Necess. Okay, did I mention anything about this video game that my wife and I play? And we love it. It's called Necess. Did I say anything about Necess in the context of this conversation? No. All I said was, give me an overview of the actions I can take in this game. And all of a sudden, it's like, which game are you talking about? So 1, I didn't load up that file and give it that context. But 2, it asks me about a game that I do actively play, and we just played it last night even, that I play with my wife. So how did it do that? Do you remember at the beginning of today's lesson, I talked about, oh, here we go. I'm looking in my memory, my history of my conversations, and there's a conversation about Necess. I know I've had more. ePay, Minecraft, image, I don't know where the others are. But I've talked about Necess before in prior conversations, and it remembers, again, that retaining that memory of your personal history. And going back to the very beginning of today, if you don't have an account, it won't save your history. So you're not going to glean or reap the benefit of that. I would recommend creating a free account and then just giving it a shot. See if it will pull from prior conversations that you've had, which it did without my even asking here. Does that make sense? So the concept of I feed it information, it pulls from the internet, but don't just rely on what it pulls back initially, those averages. Think of what you can add to AI to get better responses. So in this case, let's just say I forgot to load up the rule book. I can come here and say, give me an overview of the actions. Which game are you talking about? I click on plus, I click on add photos and files, and there's the rule book right there. And I'm going to say, this one, please. Okay, so I'm waiting for it to load. There it goes. Boom. Okay, hit enter. And now it's like, oh, I know what game you're talking about. You provided the entire rule book, overview of the actions, 3 types of actions, location, etc. So you get the idea here. I'm going to just stop that. The first one, I pre-fed it. I pre-prompted it with the rule book, loading it up as a file, as a document. And then the next one, I didn't do that. And you saw how it was just like, I don't know what you're talking about. What is this? And so then I loaded up the rule book, and then it gave me a response. Let's do another example based on this exact same game. So I'm not loading up the rule book. So I'm not taking a PDF and uploading it into this prompt. I'm just going to say, what is Vantage the game about? The theme, whatever. Okay. Now, what is it looking at? I hope you're thinking in your head, okay, it's looking at the entirety of the internet. It's scouring all the content out there. And you even saw there, searching for information about Vantage, the board game, whatever. Vantage, the cooperative open world exploration adventure game, core theme, yeah. That's exactly right. Now, notice here, these little guys. When you mouse over Meeple Mountain, Board Games Quest, Stonemaier Games, those are references. So a big hesitation I hear all the time is, well, I hear about hallucinations. I'm not going to trust any AI because I think it's going to give me wrong information. Okay, valid concern, but hopefully after the next 3 minutes, you're like, okay, it's true, but there's another part to it, okay? Can AI hallucinate? Yes. It tries to be as helpful as it possibly can, and sometimes you'll get some really weird results where you're just like, no, I don't think that's correct. In this case, look at all the references, okay? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different references, and you can click on the sources and see each of those citations or references. Oh, even more than I was counting there. So it's pulling from maybe 15 different references. If you question something, let's say I were an expert at this particular board game, and I'm like, no, I don't think that's right. Let's look at this. You can click the reference that it's pulling from for that particular paragraph or sentence or claim or whatever, and it opens it up in a new tab in your browser, or if you're on your phone, it'll pull up the browser instead of the ChatGPT app. And then you can go and verify that. Like, okay, this came from some guy, he's giving a review of this game, and at some point he claimed something about exploration and discovery. And then you go there, okay, let's look, I'm not a fan, reasons. I'm not gonna take the time right now, but you get the idea. So if you are not trusting something that AI is saying, go and verify. You as a human should be in control, and you should not just blindly trust every single thing that AI says. And I hope that's super clear. And I'm going to convey a principle here. Let me pull up the digital whiteboard. If you think of how much human intervention do I need to do? Like, is it even worth using AI if I'm just having to verify every single thing every single time? Well, it might not be, but this is the principle to think through. Okay, all right, give me just a second here. I'm going to unshare, and then I'm going to reshare a different screen, window, whiteboard, share, boom. You should see this. Okay, let me check. Yep, you can see that. Okay, so if you think of using AI, here's plus, here's minus. We've got a spectrum. If you think of the risk of hallucination. So all hallucination is think of what an actual hallucination is. It's you're seeing something that's not really there. Just like AI, a hallucination is it's telling you something that's not true. So if you think of what is the risk of getting a little bit misinformation for a board game that I am playing with my family, well, that risk is going to be clear over here, right? That is like no risk. If it gives me bad information, oh, well, we got a little thing wrong. We'll learn it later. Who cares? Now, what is the highest risk of bad information? Well, that's straight up death, right? If your surgeon is just using AI, okay, how do I do this surgery? What should I be cutting right now? Well, my goodness, I would hope that he or she is extensively pulling from his or her experience, knowledge, references, sources, because the risk of bad output is so high. Let's take another example. Let's say you're going on a big trip with your family and you rely on AI to this crazy, okay, here's an example. We went on a crazy trip. We were in our van, our minivan, and we had looked up some information about finding this place where you could go and explore and find like some crystals in nature, whatever. So we go out there and we get on this path and it starts getting really rocky. I mean, it's like four-wheeler type rocky. We start grounding the bottom of our van. It starts hitting rocks and we're bottoming out, and it was just gnarly and it was awful. It was a horrible experience. We never found the place. It was wrong. It gave us wrong information. Is that going to result in death? Well, hopefully I, as a human, I'm putting a pause on it and I'm saying, okay, I'm driving this. This is crazy. This is not worth potentially getting stranded in the middle of nowhere with my family in our van because it just grinds out and then dies. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to say hold, don't go further, which is what I did. So the risk there, I would put kind of in the middle that, yeah, it would have been a rough situation had we kept going and gotten stuck, and who knows what would have happened or how long it would have taken. We were out of reception, but I stopped it. I paused and said, hold on, let's go verify. So we backed out of there, got reception again, looked up, and it was a different path, a different route that we eventually found. So I hope you're thinking in the same context, that look at how risk averse you need to be. Meaning, if AI gives me bad output, how bad is that going to be? The more on this side that you are, the more human, I cannot type with a mouse, human intervention. You get the idea. Or human in the loop. You might have heard that term before. So the more risky, the more human intervention or validation that you are needing. So to reiterate, I'm resharing on the other side. There's my window, and I'm going back over to ChatGPT and sharing. Reiterate, I don't care about verifying this. I'm just getting an overview of this game. But if I'm going in here and saying, okay, I'm having mega heart pain right this second, help. Okay, I'm actually going to put this is incognito, so temporary chat, so it's not going to retain this as history because I don't have mega heart pain. This is just an example. Please don't freak out anyone. But the principle is, if AI tells me to do something wrong and I could be having a heart attack and I need to do something, then my goodness, you should be verifying and validating. Okay, good. It said right now, call 911. Perfect. Yes, that is exactly what I would hope it would say. Take aspirin safely if you can. That's awesome. I love that it's saying, okay, if you're not allergic to aspirin or don't have a condition where you've been told to avoid it, chew an adult aspirin or something like that. So you get the idea that I've got this conversation with AI. It gives me output after my input. Do I trust it? Should I not use AI because I'm scared of hallucination? Please, no. I've heard people say, use the analogy of, well, if your toaster breaks, give up on electricity altogether. Same principle here. If you get bad output one time or 2 times or 10 times, don't give up on the entirety of AI just because you got bad output that one time. Okay. I am going to pause right there. That was like 30 minutes of a lot of information. Here is your challenge. So every single week, I'm going to teach some principles and some tips, and then we're going to get our hands dirty together. So hopefully you've been practicing with me. If not, pause the video, jump in, and just try typing, okay? You've gone to chatgpt.com or you've downloaded the app. Just type something in the box, even if it's like, I'm a blank. So I am I just got a metal detector, so I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a metal detectorist. I don't even know if that's a word. Help. Or I'm going to say, what can you help me with? Type those words in. I am a blank. I am again, an employee. I'm a data analyst in this particular company. I am a whatever. What can you help me with? And see what it says. And then try some of those things that we just learned today of diving in a little bit. Like here's some initial layer 1. What about layer 2? Okay, tell me about what I should do before the hunt and picking sites. Dive in, jump back up to layer 1 if you want to, and then just have that conversation. So that's your homework for the next week. I will not be here next week, but I will follow this up again for week 2 the following week. And then we'll hit some really, really fun stuff. We're going to jump into agents, custom GPTs. Think of them as pre-templatized instructions or prompts that you can give AI. So let me check for any questions that we've got on the stream here. And okay, I think we are good. I'll pause for just a second to see if anyone has any questions. So again, your assignment is think of a role, a single role, maybe 2 if you want to be ambitious, that you have right now, and pick one task to think through how AI could possibly help you be better in that role. What I often say in trainings is I want you to leave thinking, before you start your next task, could AI do this for me? Could AI do this better than I could, or could AI do this faster than I could? Or to what degree could AI do with any of those categories? So thank you so much. Thank you for joining, and we will see you next week. Take care. Bye.